A fatal shooting at an apartment near King Street in Jameson is under investigation tonight. We'll have the very latest from the scene coming up in moments.
And Premier Ford weighing in on the strike at the LCBO and offering alternatives for shoppers. Details and reaction coming up.
Plus, a heat warning now in effect for Toronto and other parts of the GTA. We'll tell you how hot it could get this evening and when conditions could begin to cool down.
This is Live at 5. Good evening. I'm Bakari Savage.
And I'm Lena Latifat. Thank you for joining us. One person is dead after a shooting at an apartment building in Parkdale.
And CP24's Andrew Brennan is live at the scene. This is near King and Jameson with the latest. Andrew.
Yeah, Bakari, Lena, we're actually at one of the apartment complexes that's just south of the intersection there, but you can see King Street from right where we are. And it was on the 4th floor in one of the units there where something transpired that led to gunshots ringing out around midnight. Police don't have a lot of information. Even after giving an update earlier on this afternoon, there's some major questions still needing to be answered. Namely, first of all, who is the young man who died? All they could tell us is that it seems like this is a young man either in his late teens, early 20s, but they don't have an ID on him as of right now, and no next of kin's been notified. Take a listen.
We do not have any identification on this person. He did not appear to be carrying any on him when we found him. We have not gone into the unit to completely examine it yet. We are waiting for a search warrant for that. We may find some in there, but at this point, he has not been identified, and we are looking to identify him.
And as of right now, there seemingly has been no search warrant to be executed to get into the premises. That being said, the other big questions here, Lena, Bakari, is when it came to what happened at midnight, are they looking for a suspect or several suspects? Police not saying at this time. A lot of foot traffic going in and out of the building and saying as of now they haven't been able to narrow down who they are looking for. Also, they did tell us that this young man was not a resident of the apartment building, but someone who was allowed into the building and also into the actual unit itself. But it remains to be seen, again, not just who they are, but also how they got there and ultimately how they tragically died. I'm going to send it back to you both.
All right, Andrew Brennan, live in Parkdale tonight. Andrew, thanks so much for this. The strike that shut down LCBO locations is now in its 4th day, and there is no sign a deal will be reached anytime soon.
Right now, let's bring in CP24's Phil Perkins, who's live with the latest, including a message from their premier letting people know they have options.
Yeah, that's right, Bakari and Lena. Now, before this average, we're going to show you in a couple of seconds, was released, Ontarians did have already a lot of choices to get their beer, wine, and spirits leading up to this strike, which, as Lena mentioned, is in its 4th day. You could always go to the beer store, the wine rack, the grocery stores that are already selling beer and wine. There's still distilleries, there's still breweries. You can still order on the LCBO website and their app. You got to wait about 2 to 5 business days to get your order. But today, a little bit late from the Canada Day long weekend. It seems like Premier Ford was at the cottage. Maybe they filmed this during the Canada Day long weekend. You don't know. But he looks very relaxed. He's grilling burgers. He's drinking craft beer. And he is introducing us to this website that was made by the government of Ontario. And basically, it tells us a pretty easy way to try to find where you can get all your booze. Take a look.
Even though LCBO workers are on strike, there's still plenty of options for you to buy beer, wine, cider, coolers, and even spirits, including products made right here in Ontario.
So basically what it is, you go to the website, it's right there, it's a map, it's an interactive map, there's filters, you type in exactly what kind of alcohol you want, and it'll let you know where you can get it. So on top of all the options that we already have, this one is more just like a search tool so you can plan your route on where you're going to be getting your booze. And now some people not taking this well, they believe that this is just making a realization to these 10,000 OPSU workers with the LCBO that are fearing for the future of their jobs. Not only are they looking for, an increase in pay, they're also wary about the future of their positions and also the expansion of the sale of alcohol, particularly ready-to-drink cocktails in convenience stores and more grocery stores. So we spoke with Finance Minister Peter Bethlenfalvy about the risk of, the LCBO going completely private and these people's jobs being in jeopardy. Here's what he had to say.
It's time to move Ontario to the 21st century. and treat Ontarians like adults. But let me just say this. With regard to the LCBO, I think they're the only ones that are going to be selling spirits. They'll be able to sell now, they weren't before, cases of 2-4 of beer, wine, Ontario-made products. They'll be the best place for Ontario-made products. And they have scale, and they have the wholesaling now for all the alcohol products. So I see a good future for the LCBO. But you know what will hurt is the longer they stay out, and I would just encourage the union to then if they don't like the offer that was tabled, then let's see what you got.
All right, now we haven't heard from OPSA, which represents the 10,000 workers, but we have heard from the Ontario Federation of Labour, Laura Walton, tweeting this out after seeing that commercial saying, quote, Doug spends tax dollars on interactive maps to cross picket lines. Here are maps I would like to see. Fully staffed ERs with minimal waits, available family doctors, healthy schools with air filtration, safe water, and fully staffed mental health supports and affordable housing. Now, wait till you see the video that OPSU made before this Doug Ford video went on social media. That one is entertaining. That'll be next half hour. Back to you.
All right. CP24's Phil Perkins. Thanks, Phil.
No problem.
Okay, it's 5:06, 29 degrees, feeling like 35 outside. Let's get a check on the 5 o'clock drive with Azalea Hart. Azalea, good evening.
Good evening, Bakari and Lena. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of volume on the roads right now. Taking a look at the cameras, the right lane on the westbound Gardner at Park Lawn, that has reopened, but traffic is still very heavy on the westbound Gardner. So from Lower Sherbourne to Park Lawn, you can expect this to take about 45 minutes at this time. Also, the northbound DVP is moving slowly from Pottery Road to York Mills. This will take about 30 minutes at last check. And on the westbound 401 at Keele, the right lane remains blocked due to a collision that we've been looking at for the last half an hour or so, but traffic seems to be moving well in this area. That is it for your traffic update. Back to you.
This CP24 traffic report is brought to you by 407 ETR. Enjoy the journey with a stress-free commute.
Zelia, thanks so much. Peel police are offering significant rewards in a pair of shootings in Mississauga that left 2 bystanders dead. $100,000. That is being put up for information that leads to the identity and arrest of suspects in the killings of 2 young women, Jacqueline Gore and Renelia Richards. Gore was fatally shot outside a bar in the Torbram and Drew Road area 5 years ago today. Richards was killed outside a nightclub in the Dixie and Eglinton area on New Year's Eve. A $25,000 reward had previously been offered in Gore's case, while this is the first reward in Richards' case.
The investigations surrounding both of these cases are ongoing and remain a primary focus of the Peel Regional Police Homicide and Missing Persons Bureau. We have no reason to believe that Renelia or Jacqueline were anything but innocent victims of senseless gun violence. Such acts will not be tolerated by our service, and we're committed to using every resource possible to identify those responsible.
Maintain communication with the families continually. In relation to Jacqueline, they have been made aware of the increase of the reward and are very positive about that. And in relation to Renelia, it's no different. The family is appreciative of all efforts that we are making to gain solvency on this case.
Anyone with information about either case, you're asked to contact Peel Police or even Crime Stoppers.
And it was a brief court date this morning in the sexual assault case against billionaire businessman Frank Stronach.
Yeah, the 91-year-old was not in attendance for today's preliminary hearing. Stronach was first charged last month with 5 sex-related offenses involving 3 complainants. That was soon followed by another 8 charges involving 7 complainants. And court documents show the charges include rape, attempted rape, indecent assault, forcible confinement, and sexual assault based on allegations dating back as far as 1977. Stronach has denied all of the allegations against him. And Stronach's lawyer, Brian Greenspan, released this statement on behalf of his client. Quote, Frank Stronach, like all Canadians, values the time-honored legal principle that a person is innocent until proven guilty. However, unlike most Canadians, he faces the reputational damage which constant media attention attracts. Although gratified by the many expressions of support that he's received, we ask that the public respect the fundamental precept that Mr. Stronach remains innocent of any wrongdoing and that he will respond to these allegations in a fair and public court of law.
And the case is due back in court on October 7th. Well, police have identified a suspect wanted in a shooting in Leslieville Sunday afternoon.
That 24-year-old Moulay Adam Daniels is wanted for attempted murder and various firearms charges. He's described as being 5'8", of the medium build, dark hair, brown eyes, and police previously said that the suspect fled the scene on an e-scooter. Well, police found the victim with a gunshot wound in an apartment building on Queen Street East at Booth Avenue Sunday afternoon around 3 o'clock. He was taken to hospital in life-threatening condition.
Police are investigating after shots were fired in North York. Officers responded to the intersection of Steeles Avenue West and Keele Street just after 11:30 this morning after receiving reports that a gunshot was heard in the area. They found a vehicle that had been damaged by gunfire, but no injuries have been reported. No suspect information has been released yet, and police say the investigation remains ongoing. And police are looking for a suspect in a reported random assault in the Victoria Park and Sunrise Avenue area last Friday. Officers are looking for this man who's described as 5'10". He's about 30 to 35 years old, has dark hair. He was wearing a white T-shirt, black shorts, and black Adidas shoes. Police say the suspect attacked a man while he was walking on a pathway. The victim was punched a number of times in the head, and the suspect, police allege, brandished a knife and slashed the victim in the chest and face.
Mosquitoes carrying West Nile virus have been detected in Peel region for the first time this year.
Peel Public Health says mosquitoes collected from a trap in Brampton tested positive. The illness is a mosquito-borne disease that's transmitted to humans through bites. Symptoms can include fever, headache, joint pain, and rash. No human cases have been confirmed in Peel so far. Health officials say the risk of acquiring West Nile is low, but that people can protect themselves by wearing insect repellents containing DEET and avoiding areas with high mosquito populations.
It's 5:11, 29 degrees, feeling like 35 outside. This is Live at 5. And heat warnings are in effect all across the GTA. We're going to have more on how high the temperatures are expected to climb and when relief may be in sight.
It is 29 degrees, feeling more like 35 out there. The week certainly off to a humid start. A heat warning is in effect for Toronto and several other regions in southwestern Ontario.
And didn't you just go for a walk outside?
I did, and it was too hot for me, honestly.
All right, let's check in live with CP24's Melissa Duggan for how people are handling the conditions. Melissa.
Hey, on a day like today, the shade, a bottle of water, they are your friends. Keep them both handy if you can, because yeah, it is a hot and sweaty one. Same conditions expected tomorrow for this 2-day heat wave. A heat warning in effect, warning of humidex temperatures between 35 and 38 degrees. So yeah, hot and sticky. If you can't make it to Woodbine Beach, where I'm hanging out right now, or to a splash pad or a pool, but you do need to cool down, the City of Toronto has identified more than 300 cool spaces, places like libraries, even shopping malls and community centers, places to go to get some relief from this heat. As for people here at Woodbine Beach, a lot of them have come prepared. Have a listen.
I'm drinking lots of water and staying in the shade, and as well as also feeling the breeze.
I'm just sitting under this tree. So I don't want to get like in the sun too much today. It's pretty bad.
It's pretty sweaty and sticky.
So how are you dealing with the hot conditions? Have you been swimming, drinking lots?
Just drinking a lot.
We've been drinking slushies, wearing sunscreen, water, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, staying hydrated, a really key point on a day like today. We were talking to Dave Phillips. He's a senior climatologist with Environment Canada earlier today, and he's pointing out that it's not just those hot daytime conditions you have to watch out for, it's also the nighttime conditions. Have a listen.
We're veterans of these warm weather wars, and so this 2-day event is not something that will be exceptional, be remembered. It'll just add to the total of the number of days above 30. It's temperatures at night are going to be kind of warm. When you get those temperatures above 20, that makes it very, very difficult.
So if you're not a fan of these hot, sticky conditions, just wait until Wednesday. That's when things are expected to really change. Hurricane Beryl, the remnants from that storm could be tracking through our area, could be bringing some torrential rainfall. So Lena and Bakari, changes ahead this week.
All right. It's going to be a mixed bag weather-wise. Melissa Duggan reporting live from the beach tonight. Thanks so much, Melissa. And a hot day to be without air conditioning or elevator service, but that is the case for a big area in Scarborough.
Toronto Hydro says that it's responding to a large outage currently impacting customers in and around Sills Avenue, south to Highway 401, and from Pharmacy Avenue east to Midland Avenue. Crews are en route and keep it here on CP24 as we follow this developing story.
5:16, 29 degrees. This is Live at 5.
Beryl makes landfall in the U.S. We're going to have details and damage, plus how a local organization is helping out. Beryl made landfall once again, this time on the Texas coast as a Category 1 hurricane. More than 2 million homes and businesses lost power. High waters quickly began to close streets in Houston, with flood warnings in effect across a wide stretch of the Texas coast. Beryl has now weakened to a tropical storm.
And Beryl previously hit Mexico, Jamaica, and several other Caribbean nations. Global Medic is preparing to head to Jamaica tomorrow and has already shipped hundreds of emergency kits to help residents impacted by Beryl. Global Medic's Executive Director Rahul Singh joins us live with more on how the team is responding. Good to see you. And as always, you're doing great work helping the people of Jamaica. I was just reading that 70% of Jamaica is without water right now. So there's clearly an urgent need for clean drinking water. Tell us how you're helping.
Yeah, so, as you mentioned, we were really lucky we managed to touch some aid down last Friday into Jamaica. So 720 family emergency kits with a point-of-use water purification went in, 720 emergency food kits, buckets with rice and peas and all kinds, just to get people, the food security that they need. That's already landed. That's already in. That's being distributed. The team that goes out tomorrow has a very targeted mission. They'll land at 11:40 in the morning. Thanks to our friends at WestJet for flying us down for free. Super sweet of them to help. That team's going to be carrying portable generators and a water purification unit. They land in Mo Bay about 11:40. At 1 o'clock, they're going to get choppered down to Treasure Beach. That's in the southwest part of the island. They're setting up a community kitchen, one of our partners at World Central. They're going to be cooking food for folks out of there into that community that's been hit pretty hard. And we're installing the water purification system so that the kitchen has clean drinking water for the whole community to come get the water, and then obviously for the food to be cooked, because we don't want them cooking without clean water. Your viewers are probably seeing right now what these portable units look like. We just come in right into the shelter, right into the kitchen, install them, make sure clean water's running, and then our mission's up.
Beryl, can you talk about the process of switching from these emergency food kits to water purification?
Yeah, it's all different, right? Like the emergency food kit that's in the bucket with the food is to go right to the family, right to their door, right into their home, and let them cook at home. The family emergency kit gives them a 2-bucket system where they grab the water they've got, pour it in the top bucket, gravity pulls it through and purifies. That's meant for their home. These are communal systems, right? This is to go into, in this case, a kitchen. That kitchen is cooking for the community. And listen, this recovery doesn't happen tomorrow or the next day. It's going to be a little bit of time that people are hungry and need food and need access to clean water. So we're just super proud to be able to get in there and install a system and make sure everyone's got clean water.
Yeah, it's been devastating for those trying to recover from this hurricane. Rahul, I want to talk more about this community kitchen. Tell me what your team members are taking with them, what kind of food, and how many people could they help?
Yeah, so our friends at World Central Kitchen, super famous, big agency, based in the U.S. We work with them all around the world. They're great. They bring chefs in. They cook food for folks, and whether it's rice and peas or good comfort food that people like to eat, they work all over the world. We work all over the world with them, from Morocco to the Bahamas. We're just with them in Brazil and in Acapulco. We make sure there's clean drinking water in that kitchen so that, do you remember the old days of Typhoid Mary, right? We want to avoid that. That's why we install these water purification units for them. So this is a quick op for that team. They're going in with one target, and they're going to land, they're going to get there, they're going to fix it. The next day they're going to make sure it stays fixed, and then they're going to come home. As other kitchens pop up, we might drop more aid for that same team to install or rotate more teams in. And remember, while we're doing this in Jamaica, Grenada and St. Vincent have taken it pretty hard too, and we're doing the other thing where we're getting family emergency kits, emergency food kits there out to families in need. There's a lot of needs out there. Hopefully Texas avoids that flooding in Houston.
Yeah, those families will certainly need help as well. Really quickly, Rahul, before we let you go, how can people help?
Yeah, so 3 ways. Go online, you can make a donation at globalmedic.ca. We'll make you proud with the way you use your funds. Second, if you got some time to volunteer, you can come out, sign up, help us pack kits. When we pack our own kits, we drive price down so we can help more folks. And third, just share our message with other people on social media. We don't really invest in social media or have marketing folks like that. So if people help share our message, maybe your friend will have funds to donate or time to give.
All right. Beryl, Global Medic's Executive Director, preparing for this latest emergency response. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Rahul.
Hey, wish the team luck tomorrow.
Yes,
Yeah,
good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck. Thanks so much, and keep up the great work. The Prime Minister is visiting the U.S. for this week's NATO Summit.
Yeah, Trudeau greeted officials after arriving in Washington, D.C. this morning. The gathering officially gets underway tomorrow, and it comes as the alliance is marking its 75th anniversary. Trudeau is expected to speak about the need to continue backing Ukraine against Russia's invading forces. It's also anticipated that he'll face criticism about Canada remaining below NATO's defense spending target of at least 2% of GDP. Well, former NORAD Director of Operations, retired Major General Scott Clancy, spoke about some of the problems that Canada is facing in trying to hit NATO's spending target.
Real problem here in meeting 2% is that we don't have the people now to even process the kind of programming that it takes to get there. And, to be honest, when you're 17,000 people short inside the Canadian Armed Forces, these people and their salaries represent one of the largest expenses inside of defense. So if you can't recover that, you can't get the equipment online, and you can't spend from a personnel training point of view either.
The NATO Summit runs through Thursday.
Now, right now it's 5:25, feeling like 35 degrees outside. This is Live at 5. And coming up, another change to transit planning. It takes effect today to hopefully ease congestion along Spadina. We're going to have those details next. All right, starting today, the TTC is modifying bus replacement service on Spadina. This is an attempt to reduce travel time for riders.
Yeah, 510 buses will no longer operate on Spadina between Front and Queens Quay from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. on weekdays. Buses will instead take Front Street and loop around Blue Jays Way to go back to Spadina Station. The TTC says since the bus replacement service has been implemented, travel times have more than tripled to over an hour because of the congestion. Buses are currently replacing streetcars south of Bloor until the end of the year. This is to accommodate several upgrades, including critical track work.
It's 5:28, 29 degrees. This is Live at 5. One person has been shot and killed at an apartment in Parkdale. The latest on the investigation next. A fatal shooting at an apartment near King Street in Jameson. It's under investigation tonight. We're going to have the very latest from the scene in moments.
Premier Doug Ford weighing in on the strike at the LCBO and offering alternatives for shoppers. We'll tell you about a new promotional video coming up tonight.
And a heat warning is in effect for Toronto and the GTA. We're going to tell you how hot it could get this evening and when the conditions can start to cool down.
You're watching Live at 5. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Lena Latifat.
And I'm Bakari Savage. One person's dead. This is after a shooting at an apartment building in Parkdale.
CP24's Andrew Brennan is live at the scene near King and Jameson with the very latest. There's still lots to learn about this investigation, Andrew.
Yeah, Lena, lots to learn. Even when we got an update from the detective sergeant overseeing this case, what became clear is how much police don't know right now. For starters, who died? The victim, we were told, between potentially being a late teen, early 20s. We were told that they were, in terms of a very generic and simple description, we were told someone who was tall and had a short afro, but that's about it. There's no next of kin that's been notified. They haven't had a way of being able to identify this young man who was found in a unit on the 4th floor after gunshots rang out and reported to police via 911 calls that came in around midnight overnight. But the other question coming from who this young man is also how he got into this specific unit and why he was there. This is what police said about that.
I'm not going to get into details about how the young man arrived at the apartment. He was allowed into the building. However, he is not a resident of the building. That I do know.
The other big question we're trying to figure out right now, and seemingly still stumping police, is the question about who shot and killed this young man. Now, police did say they don't have a specific number of suspect or suspects they're seeking right now. They don't actually have any pinpointed suspect information because of the amount of people coming and going from the building around midnight last night, saying that ultimately right now what they're looking for, Lena Bakari, is to have people come forward to help them try to narrow down the suspect pool and try to bring this young man's killer to justice. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Andrew Brennan reporting live from Parkdale tonight. Andrew, thanks so much. The strike that's shut down LCBO locations now in its fourth day, and there is no sign a deal could be reached anytime soon. Let's go live to CP24. It's Phil Perkins with the latest, including a bit of a commercial from the Premier talking about options. Phil?
Yeah, that's right, Lena and Bakari. Once the 10,000 OPSU workers at LCBO walked off the job on Friday, there were already a lot of options for people to get their beer, wine, and spirits. If this strike were to go on for 2 weeks, which it now is, you can always go to the beer store. You can go to the wine rack. You can go to distilleries, breweries, and the grocery stores that already sell beer, wine, and some cocktails that are ready to drink. But today, Premier Ford, on a patio of some cottage, not sure if it's his or not, was showing off this new interactive map on the Ontario government's website where you can locate over 2,300 locations to get all your booze that are not LCBO-specific stores. Take a look.
Even though LCBO workers are on strike, there's still plenty of options for you to buy beer, wine, cider, coolers, and even spirits, including products made right here in Ontario.
And so some people are taking this not well, saying that this in a way is undermining the strife of these 10,000 LCBO workers right now, kind of painting a reality where there is no LCBO. There is simply this idea of the future where alcohol expansion is primarily privatized in grocery stores, at beer stores, at wine racks, and places that are already selling it right now. And so we spoke with Finance Minister Peter Bethlenfalvy about how that website, how that ad, how that is playing to these LCBO workers and how they should be feeling right now. Here's what he said.
OPSU said to us they wanted increased wages. They wanted to move casual workers to more full-time and more severance. And guess what? The LCBO offer on Thursday contained all of that. And what they chose to do was walk away early, strike, and they've not made any counter proposal to the LCBO's offer, which included basically everything that they had asked for.
Now, this is not in response because this video actually came out before the Doug Ford Cottage website defined booze commercial. But OPSU released this video on social media. It has 32,000 views right now. It is seemingly made, and I don't know how to describe it, but basically the tweet reads, Fordzilla minus fun, all this destruction coming to a public service near you. LCBO workers are striking to save summer. Let them know you're with them and send a letter now. It basically seems like a kind of a video you once would make in a basement, I guess. They have Ford's face cut out on a Tyrannosaurus Rex toy. It's seemingly destroying this little girl's fun summer. I don't know, Lena Bakari, I don't know if this is a negotiation tool. I know we're in talks to try to hear from OPSU. Maybe they can weigh in on this video. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Just thought it was interesting. 32,000 views so far on X. Actually.
All right, both sides certainly have a lot to say.
Yeah.
We're going to be interviewing OPSU tonight. That's coming up at 7:45. So we'll try to ask about that video for you. Phil Perkins live in studio. Thanks, Phil.
No problem.
All right, it's 5:36, 29 degrees. Let's get a check on the commute at this 5 o'clock hour with Azalea Hart. Azalea, good evening.
Good evening, Bakari and Lena. So I'll start with some good news. The right lane that was blocked on the westbound Gardner Park lawn, that has reopened and traffic is moving well in this area. But it's still heavy on the westbound Gardner. Heavy from Lower Sherbourne to Dufferin. It's going to take about 30 minutes here, but that's better than it was about 20 minutes ago where it was going to take 45 minutes. This is just showing you how far back the traffic goes on the westbound Gardner. Northbound DVP also moving slowly from Pottery Road to York Mills, but now it's only going to take about 20 to 25 minutes versus the 35 minutes that it was going to take about 10 minutes ago. This is just showing you again how far back it goes. Out of camera view, however, there's a collision on the eastbound 401 collector ramp at the 427 North. The left lane is closed. That's your traffic update. Back to you.
All right. Thanks, Azalea. Well, Peel police are offering significant rewards in a pair of shootings in Mississauga. It left 2 bystanders dead. $100,000 is being put up for information that leads to the identity and arrest of suspects in the killings of Jacqueline Gore and Renelia Richards. Gore was fatally shot outside a bar in the Torbram and Drew Road area 5 years ago today. Richards was killed outside a nightclub in the Dixie and Eglinton area New Year's Eve. A $25,000 reward had previously been offered in Gore's case, while this is the first reward in Richards' case.
A reward is just one of the tools we have in our arsenal to use in effort to solve major crimes. In this case, in both of these cases, dozens of people were present at these establishments and didn't come forward. Community engagement, positive community engagement, is the cornerstone of community safety and well-being. And as such, we really need our community to work together with us to solve these crimes.
We can take all the traditional means in our investigative avenues to solve these crimes, but what we know is that without having influence and help from the community in providing us additional information, a lot of the times we can't just rely on those traditional means. We need the community to help, and that's what we're seeking in this case, in both of these cases.
So if you can help in either case, contact police or Crime Stoppers.
It was a brief court date this morning in the sexual assault case against billionaire businessman Frank Stronach.
Yeah, the 91-year-old was not in attendance for today's preliminary hearing. Stronach was first charged last month with 5 sex-related offenses involving 3 complainants. That was soon followed by another 8 charges involving 7 complainants. Court documents show that the charges include rape, attempted rape, indecent assault, forcible confinement, and sexual assault based on allegations dating back as far as 1977. And Stronach has denied all of the allegations against him.
And Stronach's lawyer, Brian Greenspan, releasing this statement. Frank Stronach, like all Canadians, values the time-honored legal principle that a person is innocent until proven guilty. However, unlike most Canadians, he faces the reputational damage which constant media attention attracts. Although gratified by the many expressions of support he's received, we ask that the public respect the fundamental precept that Mr. Stronach remains innocent of any wrongdoing and that he will respond to these allegations in a fair and public court of law.
The case is due back in court October 7th.
Well, police have identified a suspect wanted in a shooting in Leslieville Sunday afternoon.
24-year-old Moulay Adam Daniels is wanted for attempted murder and various firearms charges. He's described as being 5'8", with a medium build, dark hair, and brown eyes. And police previously said that the suspect fled the scene on an e-scooter. Well, police found the victim with a gunshot wound in an apartment building on Queen Street East at Booth Avenue around 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon. He was taken to hospital in life-threatening condition.
Police are investigating after shots were fired in North York. Officers responded to the intersection of Steeles Avenue West and Keele Street just after 11:30 this morning after receiving reports that a gunshot was heard in the area. They found a vehicle that had been damaged by gunfire, but no injuries have been reported. No suspect information has been released yet, and police say the investigation continues.
Mosquitoes carrying West Nile virus have been detected in Peel region for the first time this year. Peel Public Health says that mosquitoes collected from a trap in Brampton tested positive. The illness is a mosquito-borne disease that's transmitted to humans through bites. The symptoms can include fever, headache, joint pain, and rash. No human cases have been confirmed in Peel so far. Health officials say that the risk of acquiring West Nile is low, but then people can protect themselves by wearing insect repellents containing DEET and avoiding areas with high mosquito populations.
It is 5:41, 29 degrees. This is Live at 5.
If you're planning a trip to an Ontario park, you may want to pick a specific date next week. We're going to tell you why coming up.
Well, the week is certainly off to a humid and hazy start. A heat warning is in effect for Toronto and several other regions in southern Ontario. Right now, we're sitting at 29, but it's feeling more like 35.
All right, with that, let's check in live with CP24's Melissa Duggan for how people are handling the conditions. Melissa.
Hey, Bakari, if it's not hot enough for you today, just wait till tomorrow when the humidex is going to be feeling closer to 40 degrees. 38 is the current prediction. And tonight, not a lot of relief. You know, it's going to be around 20 degrees. If you don't have AC, it's going to be a tough one to sleep through. But there is some good news. We have a big change in weather coming Wednesday. That's when our region could be seeing the remnants of Hurricane Beryl track through with some very heavy rains in the forecast. A special weather statement right now is predicting 20 to 40 millimeters of rain per hour. But we got to get through this heat wave first, this 2-day heat wave until we get to that point. People here at Woodbine Beach, they are taking advantage of this gorgeous weather today. Here's what they're telling me.
Well, my apartment doesn't have air conditioning, but we have a pool, so I'm at the pool every day, and obviously we're at the beach, so that's about it. Other than ice packs in the bed at night, that really helps.
I saw it said like the highest would be 30 degrees, so I was surprised. So I prepared, make sure I had everything, and dressed properly as well. Sandals, any light clothing.
Just coping, just came here, and nothing else really.
So the beach is a good day to bring the family out?
Kind of. It's really hot though.
Now, I mentioned that it's not going to cool off much tonight, and because of that, the City of Toronto is going to be keeping 7 pools open later until 11:45 tonight. So that includes Alex Duff, Giovanni Caboto, McGregor, Monarch Park, North Toronto Memorial, Sunnyside, Gus Ryder, and Smithfield. Again, all open till just almost midnight tonight. Another place to get some relief, but definitely stay hydrated, find some shade if you can. Might even suggest some ice cream. There's an ice cream truck right next to me right now that's doing some brisk business. And Lena and Bakari, my camera operator, Simon, and I may have possibly had vanilla soft serve cones. Unconfirmed reports.
Ice cream, you scream.
All right,
We all
reports
scream for ice cream.
Reports of ice cream. All right, Melissa Duggan, thanks so much.
All right, well, it is a hot
Thanks.
day to be without air conditioning or elevator service, but that is the case for a big area in Scarborough.
Toronto Hydro says it's responding to a large outage currently impacting customers in and around Steeles Avenue south to Highway 401 and from Pharmacy Avenue east to Midland Avenue. Crews are en route. Keep it here on CP24 as we follow this developing story. And Queen's Park has announced free day use access at provincial parks later this month.
That's happening Friday, July 19th to mark Healthy Parks, Healthy People Day. And that's a global movement to promote the health benefits of getting outside in nature. And the Minister of Environment, Conservation and Parks says that she hopes this free day will give more people the opportunity to explore their local provincial park. And visitors planning to take part are advised to reserve a daily vehicle permit. And that can be done up to 5 days in advance for the 75 parks that offer this service.
547, 29 degrees. This is Live at 5.
And the federal government is making a change to its national dental plan as it's facing ongoing questions over how effective this program is going to be for dentists and their patients. The federal government is making changes to the national dental program to try and get more dentists to provide care under it. Dentists and other oral health providers no longer need to sign up with the government to offer services to patients who are eligible for coverage. Instead, they can now be reimbursed on a claim-by-claim basis. The program offers coverage to uninsured, low and middle-income seniors, children, and people who receive the disability tax credit. The changes come after weeks of tensions between Ottawa and dental associations.
The fact that we're almost at 50% now, just under 50% of oral health providers participating, dentists, hygienists, and denturists, 250,000 Canadians served, more than 400,000 claims. This is remarkable progress in a very short period of time. But we always acknowledged that 9 million is a big number, and making sure that everybody gets the care that they need is going to take a lot of work. This is a very important, I would say, leap in that direction.
Well, the government plans to eventually expand the program to cover anyone without private insurance and a household income of less than $90,000 a year.
Well, in an interview with MSNBC's Morning Joe, U.S. President Joe Biden pushed back against calls from members of his own party to step aside and let a new candidate take on Donald Trump.
I ran because I never bought on in the trickle-down economic theory. I never bought into the notion that we have to walk away from the rest of the world and cave to Putin or anybody else. I've never believed any of that.
Biden also sent a letter to congressional Democrats where he vowed to remain in the race for the White House despite his disastrous showing in last month's presidential debate. His performance raised questions about his age, mental fitness. He used the letter to call for an end to internal party drama, saying the Democrats' one job is to defeat Trump in November. And White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about Biden's letter to Democratic lawmakers today.
I will say when the president gets knocked down, he gets back up. This is quintessential Joe Biden. And there are a long list of other congressional members who have shown their support for this president. I don't have anything else to read out. You saw the letter. The letter was, I think, pretty clear on where the president stands, and I'll just leave it there.
The Democratic convention will take place August 19th to the 22nd. It'll take place in Chicago at the United Center.
Well, the French government is in limbo after voters delivered mixed results in the latest round of elections.
Voters were split between the left, center, and right, with no party winning enough votes to form government. French President Emmanuel Macron refused the resignation of the country's prime minister, asking him to remain temporarily as the head of government to provide some stability. Newly elected and returning lawmakers were expected to gather at the National Assembly to begin negotiations to find a path forward.
It's 5:53, 29 degrees. This is Live at 5. And the Raptors announced a couple of significant contract extensions in the hopes of a more successful season ahead. Those details are next. All right, the Raptors have signed Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel Quickly to multi-year contract extensions.
Yeah, President Masai Ujiri says he is confident the pair will get the franchise back to its winning ways.
Scotty, it was intentional. He's what he brings, the hard work, the dedication, the growth, the learning ability, the talent, the skill, and the person. I think the person is what really sits with us, and how he embraces this city, this country, and the game. It's so important to us on how we navigate and build this team.
The main thing I learned about this city is just how dedicated, how supportive the fans are to this organization, this program. Not just the city, but all of Canada. You know, from day one, I'm sure everybody felt it. Every single player, they felt that presence that this city has and what this team can bring. That how much they just love you and support you through no matter any situation. So I think that's the thing that you just got to embrace most.
The main thing was just the mentality of the organization, where they saw this team going individually for me and also as a team. I think what we can do here can be special, and really excited to get started. So just the mentality of the team and, where they saw this thing going, I was really intrigued.
And Quickly was drafted 25th overall in 2020. He was traded to the Raptors from the Knicks, along with R.J. Barrett, December 30th of last year. In 38 games in Toronto, the 25-year-old averaged 19 points and 7 assists.
Well, the Canadian men's soccer team is preparing for their semifinal match at Copa America.
Yeah, the Canadians are going to take on powerhouse and number 1 ranked Argentina tomorrow night after taking down Venezuela on penalties in the quarterfinals. So Canada lost to Argentina 2-0 in the group stage, but has allowed just 1 goal in 3 matches since then.
If you just look at the amount of days that we've spent together, right? It's almost like the time when we played Argentina and then the 18 days we've had since. That's doubled the amount of time we've spent together. So we've invested in that time in making sure that we've tactically been clear, that the relationships on the pitch are clear, and the understanding of how to handle all moments is better. So again, I don't think it's a completely different team as much as I just think we've developed and we feel more confident in the roles and tactically how we're playing.
Like we said, we're the same team as the first game, and we just developed mentally, physically, and grown over those days. And they know what we have. We we have a lot of speed and power, but I think over those days we've been together, we've been growing, and we played them the first game, and we know what to expect and know the crowd, and so we're going to that game with obviously we have to play better and do better and less mistakes.
All eyes on this one. Kickoff is tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, and you can catch all of the action on TSN. We'll have highlights right here on CP24 as well.
Yeah, it's 5:59, 29, but it's feeling like 35 outside. This is Toronto's breaking news, CP24, and you know what? It's been a scorcher.
Yeah, it really is hot and hazy out there, and those conditions are expected to continue. Thanks for watching.